Hello everybody, welcome back. We are in St. Vincent today. Gonna take a nice leisurely flight down the Grenadines down to Grenada. Then just simply because of kind of the way the terrain is laid out, we're gonna go down to Trinidad from Grenada, then fly east to west across Trinidad. West to east rather, across Trinidad, and then up to Tobago to the new Crown Point Airport. So should be exciting to do. Get to see some of my favorite flight simulator territory today, the Grenadine Islands. There's some great freeware available for it on flightsim.to, and there's some fantastic. Hey Jason, hey Peter, what's going on, guys? Great to have you aboard. Some fantastic scenery down along the Grenadines. We're gonna see Mustique, which would have been one of my landing challenges had Asobo asked me, and of course they didn't. So I guess without further ado, let's get the airplane going. Hey Steven, what's going on? And let's go external power supply on. Let's go mixtures and props full forward. And let's crack the throttles. Rotating beacon on. Let's go fuel valves open. I'm kind of out of order in this one today. Fuel pumps coming on. Magnetos on left. Take a look outside. Make sure there's nobody to kill or maim. And we'll go. What have I done? External power supply is on. Ladies and gentlemen. You gotta get up pretty early in the morning to fool me, mastering battery switches on. Electricity's a good thing. Alright, oil pressure. Oil pressure's good. Left prop is clear. Good start. Oil pressure is good. Turn the fuel pumps off. Check the fuel pressures. Fuel pressures are okay. Mags to both. Starter hood cover is closed. Avionics master coming on. Transponder, I'll go straight squawk altitude on that. Let's see, manifold pressure back just a little bit. We'll lean the mixtures for taxi. Nav and strobe lights coming on. External power supply coming off. I did everything out of order. Hey Ray, hola, ¿cómo estás? I did everything out of order on this one today. I have no idea why, but I did. But we got it going. So, and the other intelligent thing I did today was I set. I'm not using live weather because there is some volcanic dust down in the Caribbean right now. Let's engage the tow brakes, release the parking brake, and I don't. It just would be stupid to buzz around with low visibility. So as soon as the airplane gets moving, you want to test your tow brakes. So we're looking good. So one of the complications for this was that, so I've got a package that has Piarco Airport. I was going to finish the flight at Piarco in Trinidad, but then I realized I've got the we want to see the new airport in Tobago, Crown Point. And the other thing, of course, is that the only Piarco scenery for the sim is a package which has Tobago included as well. So I can't use the new Asobo Crown Point scenery and the Trinidad scenery at the same time. So we have to skip landing in Trinidad, so I figured we'll just go down and land in, just go down and overfly the island so that we can see the two points of interest in Trinidad, and then go up and see the new airport in Tobago. So landing lights coming on. You always want your landing lights on when you're entering an active runway. And runway is looking clear. Looking clear in both directions. Let's get out on center line. Let's put in our takeoff flaps. Mixtures and props full forward. Flaps are set. Fuel pumps coming on. This is why you do checklists. Heading indicator checks with the runway number, which is runway 4. Takeoff power coming in. Takeoff power is set. Engine instruments in the green. Airspeed is alive. I'll tell you a funny story about airspeed is alive once we get airborne here. 70 knots, we can get going. So, positive rate of climb. Gear is down and welded. I trust you guys can hear the audio on my microphone here. Alright, we can bring the props back, bring manifold pressure back. We can bring the flaps up and we'll make our turnout here. So, hey Veneno, how you doing? Good to have you back, man. So I'm going to tell you guys a story about one of my greatest failings as a pilot. 1,000 feet AGL, we'll turn the fuel pumps off. Check the fuel pressure. Fuel pressure's good. I'm looking for 1,500 feet today. I think would be good because we want to get a good view of the Grenadines on the way down. So one of my greatest failures as a pilot. Props back, manifold pressure back, and we'll start trimming out. That is the island of Bequia off the nose. Get us trimmed here, at least roughly trimmed. So one of my greatest failures, and it's something I remember on every flight now because of how and when it happened. So I was flying with a buddy of mine in my Cherokee, and he is a commercial pilot. I was PIC that particular day, and we did a pre-flight, and we were taking off, and I did takeoff power set, engine instruments in the green, airspeed alive, airspeed alive, airspeed alive, and nothing was happening. And it's like your brain freezes at a time like that, like when you're expecting something to happen and it doesn't happen. And it turns out that I left the pitot hood cover on, or the pitot tube cover. The pitot tube, I don't know if we can see it in this airplane. Yeah, so the pitot tube is that thing right there. That's exactly the same type that we have in the Cherokee. Well, actually, no, the Cherokee's a little bit different, but there's a cover you put on it so the bugs don't get into the hole there when you're on the ground. And I left the cover on. It's one of the things you obviously take off during the pre-flight. And yeah, so we never got any airspeed, but like by the time it kind of registered with me that we weren't gonna get any airspeed, it was already time to go flying. Like the airplane was ready to fly. You could feel it in the controls. Sounds good, Vanessa. We'll be here. And actually the pitot tube cover fell off right as we were rotating, and so we did get airspeed eventually. But the lesson it's kind of a too many cooks in the kitchen. Like I was the pilot in command that day, and it's my responsibility to make sure that the airplane is ready for flight, and I didn't do that. And part of the reason I didn't do that is because I was kind of expecting, I wasn't expecting my buddy to perform that role, but I was just kind of lax because there was somebody else there. And so now the two things I learned from that experience is that if you're pilot in command, you are pilot in command. It's not anybody else's responsibility to do anything. Even if they're a pilot, even if they're more experienced or more, better trained or whatever than you are, if you're pilot in command, you are pilot in command. And the other thing I learned is that the airspeed, when you do takeoff power set, engine instruments in the green, airspeed alive, by the time you get to the words airspeed alive, that airspeed should be moving. And if it's not, something's wrong. Like I think if you asked most pilots, how long does it take for the airspeed indicator to become active after you put in the power, I bet you most wouldn't really be able to give you a specific answer. And after that experience, I can. Hey, Greek dude, what's going on? So can somebody just confirm with a comment that you can hear my audio? I just want to make sure. I assume you can, but I just want to make sure. It's registering on my streaming software. This is an add-on, Jason. This is the Black Box Islander. This is the Britain Norman Islander from Black Box Simulations. Audio's 5x5, awesome. So this is the island of Bequia. I don't know if you guys heard. There was an accident in the Caribbean recently where a German actor was killed. This is where it happened. And the airport where they took off out of. Hey Paul, how are you doing? Welcome aboard. The airport where they took off out of is right over this ridge here. This is a pretty cool airport. Once we, it should be right underneath us right now. Yeah, there it is. So this is where they took off out of, and they crashed somewhere out here a couple weeks ago. So I'm debating. I want some votes here. So that in the far distance over there is Mustique Island, and if I had the choice, I would have made that one of the landing challenges. So I want to ask you guys: you want me to land there, or do you want to keep going? I can go show it to you and fly over it, or we can go land there and I'll show you how crazy it is. I have a feeling I know what you guys are going to say. And there is literally no guarantee I'm going to get this airplane down there. It's a great approach. One of my favorite approaches in the islands. I gotta look and see. TVSM. Okay, it's runway 925. So I vote we land there. What do you guys think? We're gonna do a quick landing at Mustique, and then we'll get airborne again. And Hey Ray, it's no problem, man. I speak. Yo hablo un poquito español. Well, no un poquito. Alright, land there. That's what I want to hear. Let's have some fun. Alright, so let's start slowing the airplane down. Runway 9er, so we're going to look to get... Actually, we're on a perfect left base. Here's a good trick for flying patterns. If you're landing on runway 9 and you want to know if you're on a good left base for runway 9, you want to put that 9 right on this left hash mark right there, and then you know you're on a perfect left base. You want to be on a right base for runway 9, you put that 9 on this right hash mark, and you'd be coming in the opposite direction. Good easy way to fly patterns. I like doing things easy. I like doing things easy. So this whole let's go fuel pumps on. Mixtures are rich. This whole group of islands here is these are the Grenadine Islands. And I really want to go see them at some point in my life. So Mustique, this island that we're landing at now, is a privately owned island. I don't quite know how that works, but it's a privately owned island, but the airport is for public use. So you are allowed to land there. Let's start bleeding off some speed here. The airport is right kind of in line with that boat. It's like right in here. Alright, we're under 115. Let's put in the first notch of flaps. And another tip, always make your base to final turn. You want to make your base to final turn too early rather than too late. And the reason is because if you make it too late, you're gonna have to make it a steeper turn. See how I've kind of overshot the turn and I have to go around and kind of come back towards the runway? What people have a tendency to do is use the rudder to pull the nose around. And if you do that, you can get cross-controlled in the turn. And if you do that and get slow and stall, you're done for. So just a thing to keep an eye out for. I'm gonna go props full forward. Mixtures props full forward. Fuel pumps are on. Got to get rid of just a little bit more speed so I can get the next notch of flaps in. Alright, flaps coming in. Now we got to get ourselves trimmed out and descending here. I want about a 500 foot per minute descent at about 80 knots is what I'm looking for. Probably 70 or 80 knots. Definitely no faster than 80. I want to keep some of the... I don't want to trim all of the control. You can start seeing the Vassies on the left-hand side of the runway there. I don't want to take all of the control pressure out with the trim because I want to be able to let go of the yoke and let the nose drop. I don't like pushing the nose down. I like letting it go and letting it drop. See that hill right there? We get pretty close. Bring some power out. Bring a lot of power out. There's some people down there watching us. Yeah, we got plenty of energy. Power's all the way out. God, I make it look like I know what I'm doing. It's scary. Alright. Once you get below 40 knots, you pull that yoke right back into your chest. And that's called aerodynamic braking. And what that does, let me show you real quick. If you do that, pull that, well, you can't really see it too well. If you pull the yoke back, you you get the back of the stabilator to stick up into the wind, and it helps you slow down. But don't do it until you're below the white arc, because if you do, you might go flying again. Hey Mark, that'd be awesome. Bequia. Okay, Run Wild, thank you. I didn't know that, obviously. Bequia. So this is one of my favorite places to fly into in the Caribbean. I love this place. And the funny thing is, so this is all part of the Aerosoft package of the Grenadines. But there is a freeware version. There's actually a couple freeware versions of this airport on FlightSim.to that are phenomenal, like really, really good. So I'm just going to show you guys the terminal here. How cool is this? You know, like a lot of Caribbean airports, it's not complicated, but it's just, I think it's just a cool little place. I really do. So we'll turn ourselves around. Look at the golf carts over there. Yeah, Peter, this runway is wild, huh? You got it, and the departure is almost as fun as the. Let me lean the mixtures here. I'm gonna leave the fuel pumps on because we're gonna be getting right back out of here. But make sure my lights are on, and they are. So yeah, this is that was one of the better landings I've ever made at this airport. And the trick to short runways like this is you don't want to be too fast, but you'd rather have a little too much energy than not enough. Like if you're on the glide path and a little bit fast, that's okay. Because then you can chop the power and just let the nose drop and use some of that energy, which is what I did, and it worked. Yes, Ray, yes, you can. That's exactly what I'm doing. So this is a pretty cool departure. And you got the folks up here watching all the fun. So, alright, fuel pumps are on. Whoa, mixtures and props full forward. That's not good. That's not good. I'm going to put on the brakes here. Mixtures and props full forward, fuel pumps are on, flaps are set. Takeoff power is coming in. This is not how you would really want to do it, but alright, takeoff power is set. Engine instruments are in the green. We'll probably be airborne before the stall line there. And there we go. And if you take off out of here in a plane without much power, you really have to pick which which valley you're going to fly out through. In the 150, it's adventurous. In this plane, it's no big deal. View outside, look at that. How cool is that, huh? Alright, flaps can come up. Bring the props back. Bring the power back to 25. Alright. 1,000 feet AGL, turn the fuel pumps off. Check our fuel pressures. Fuel pressures looking good. Ray, the only problem is with Piarco because there's only one payware Piarco available, and that one also has Crown Point in Trinidad in the package. It's a package deal. Props back. We're gonna stay at 1500. Power to 23. So you can't really have the Trinidad payware and the Tobago freeware from Asobo in the same time, which is kind of irritating. So the Piarco Grenada Tobago package, you can only have the whole thing loaded. All 3 airports at the same time. Peter, that airport was Tango Victor Sierra Mike. Bequia. I'll type it in the chat here. Tango Victor Sierra Mike. And that's one of my favorite airports in the sim. Great little airport. I absolutely love flying in there. I've flown in there with the TBM, which is a good little challenge. And I've flown in and out of there with the 152. And you can get, so Peter, you can get the Grenadines package from Aerosoft, which has all these little island airports along that we're going to look at. Or you can get the freeware versions from FlightSim.to, and the freeware versions are great. They really are. A little bit of aileron trim here. So the first, and hopefully Run Wild can correct me if my pronunciation is wrong. I was never sure about this one. The next island is Canouan. This airport is Tango Victor Sierra Charlie, the one coming up here. Oh, Stephen, nice. Yeah, the TBM at St. Bart's is great, and we'll see you shortly, Ray. Yeah, these are just great little airports along here. It's a lot of fun. I have 2 videos that I put up. Like, one of them was a long time ago, probably a year and a half ago, where I hopscotched up these islands in the 152 and landed at every airport. There's like 6 of them between Grenada and St. Vincent, where we took off out of. There are 6 airports, and I really want to come in real life down and see all this territory. It's got to be just stunning. Beautiful day. Well, of course I've got the weather set to few clouds. This is a little bit more than few clouds in my opinion, but this is very typical of what the weather is around these parts. So every one of these little airports is really cool. Yeah, Bernardo, I mean, I can see your point. Hey, Lorenzo, how you doing? Welcome aboard, amigo. Bernardo, I can see your point. Yeah, I mean, I'm just grateful to see, like, I'm grateful to see, like, the what do they call it? Like the terrain better mapped, you know, like having more exact terrain representation. But yeah, I can totally see what you mean in the sim. I do think, though, in this world update, I think the buildings in the cities are a lot better. It's not photogrammetry. I mean, I don't think they have the ability, so I just don't think they have the data. But to me, I think looking at the cities, because we've flown through a lot of cities looking for the points of interest, and to me it just looks like the cities have better buildings, better representation. I mean, in fact, I've actually been quite surprised at how good some of the cities look. But I take your point, you know. I mean, the Caribbean is a different kind of beast, you know. I mean, it's not really known for its cities per se, you know. But I mean, to me, yeah, Lorenzo, I'm flying the Islander. I'll show you real quick. So to me, I'm just thrilled that the Caribbean is getting any attention at all. You know, I'm just happy the Caribbean's getting any attention at all because it never has. But I've actually been kind of surprised with some of the buildings and stuff that I've seen in some of the cities. And the other thing that's kind of surprised me is that I haven't done any flying in any of the other world update. Like I haven't gone looking around for any of the points of interest and anywhere else. But like these are, look at how beautiful this is. These points of interest are small, you know, like they're really, gosh, that Watermasking is stunning. It's just beautiful. I'll get a look back at the island real quick. So this is Canouan. This is another really cool little airport. It's a little bit easier because there's no terrain on the way in or the way out, but it's still kind of intimidating to fly into. But I tell you, the scenery just looks amazing. It really just looks amazing. So that was Canouan. Next up is Union Island. This is another really tricky one. Yeah, Bernardo, I'm totally with you on that. I am, like, one of the places that I've never explored in any sim is Africa, because it's also never gotten any attention. But like there are some freeware developers who have done some absolutely stunning work in Africa. If you look at my Caribbean freeware video that I did a couple days ago, there's a developer called, I think it's Chak 991, CHAK 991. I'm gonna type it into the. I think this is, yeah. This dude, whoops. He's on FlightSim.to. He does some insane scenery. He's done some really, really beautiful work in Africa. Look at this. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Look at this. This is just amazing. The other thing I've noticed is I've started to notice some boats too that aren't underwater, which is kind of nice. So I don't have any shipping out on, so these are in the sim. So that's Union Island Airport right there. That's another tricky one. Yeah, the Watermasking looks unbelievable. Of course, they took it out from the rest of the world apparently, but hey, can't have everything, right? Yeah, Lorenzo, some people have had better luck with version 3.5. If 3.5.1 has been problematic for them. This is Union Island. So this one, you've got to come down over this hill. It's bigger than it looks. You come down at an angle and cut in. It's a tricky little landing, and it's a short runway, as you can see. And if you don't get it right, you're going swimming. But it's another great little airport. Look at this. I mean, this is just This is unbelievable. And this area was very, very pretty before. But I mean, this is just, I mean, this is ridiculous now. And I've always wondered what that is over. That's been there before this, I don't know if it's a structure or whatever it is. But that's been there before. I don't know quite what it is. Just unbelievable. So next up we've got Carricou or Carricou. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Hey Andrew, how's it going? Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, the ferry port, okay. And this is another cool approach here. So this airport is right along there, and you've got to kind of skirt this hill. And there's a lot of these you just can't come straight in. You've got to go at a little bit of an angle. And it makes them tricky. Yeah, ferry port makes sense. Those are some pretty large looking bays. Yeah, someday I want to go down and just hopscotch up these islands with like no schedule and nothing to do. And no plans, you know. So cool. That's Grenada off in the distance, the big island. I think the trees look tremendous. I think the trees look really, really good. But some of the water masking is just stunning. See the airport coming into view now. Right there about our 11 o'clock. Oh, Andrew, that's awesome. Hey, Ray, welcome back, sir. It's got to be so stunning. Kind of have to skirt this a little bit to get in. Just stunning. Just stunning. Yeah, these are the sunken boats again. We're back to sunken boats apparently. I haven't noticed a whole lot more VATSIM or Volanta traffic in the islands the last couple of days, which has kind of surprised me a little bit. I thought maybe we'd get some more traffic down here, but maybe it's because of the water masking thing. So apparently west of Puerto Rico, none of the water masking really came in, which is a little bit of a shame. I guess it all got deleted basically, along with the rest of the along with the rest of the world. Hey, Chaotic DJ, how you doing? Welcome aboard, sir. Um, so I don't know whether the water masking problem is why there hasn't been a real uptick in traffic or what, or if people just aren't flying on VATSIM. But I was kind of hoping there would be a nice bump in traffic on the way once this got released. Andrew, I don't use anything like that. I don't use any filters. I don't use any like shader programs or anything. This is all just stock. I don't even mess with there's the NVIDIA thing that you can bring up to change like the tints and the brightness. I don't even do any of that. This is just completely stock. I messed with that a little bit at the beginning. I messed with that a little bit maybe 6 months ago. Like maybe over the summer, because I'd seen a couple of videos that looked really good. But the reality is, like, you're never gonna get it to look perfect the way you want. And I don't know. I felt like once you start doing that, you're always gonna be tweaking, trying to get the perfect color, and I just didn't feel like bothering. And things are gonna look different on somebody else's screen versus your screen, and so on and so forth. So I just left it. I mean I think for stock, this looks amazing. And one of the things people say is it's too bright. Well, whenever you're in this area, like, you're wearing sunglasses. If you're, for those of you who are in the Caribbean, or those of you who live there, like, take your sunglasses off and tell me how bright it is outside. It's really bright, and clearly you're not flying in the sim with sunglasses on, so at least that's my excuse. But yeah, Lorenzo, they are cool, the NVIDIA filters, and we should absolutely do a group flight. I don't know if you guys, we should do it on, I don't know if you guys want to do it on VATSIM or what you want to do, what kind of planes you want to use. Maybe I'll put a poll, and we can set one up. We can set up a group flight. It'd be fun. Yeah, Ray. So when I do the streaming flights, I turn all that stuff off. I turn the frame gen off. I don't do the Holy Grail settings. It's all, this is just completely stock. It is DLSS quality, I believe. That's in for sure, right? Yeah, there is an event. I think on the 3rd. You're right. You're absolutely right. And I might have to go to a kid's birthday party that day. But I just found out today that the kid in question is sick, so we might not have to go to the party. And if we don't have to go to the party, then I'll be at the VATSIM event for sure. Okay, Andrew, we'll take a look at that once we get over. Yeah, so I mentioned before, like, I'm involved with the Caribbean Airlines virtual, and we coordinated with the VATSIM sector down here to set that event up on Saturday, before I realized that I'm invited to a family birthday party, which clearly only affects me, but I was really hoping to be there to support the event, and I think the party might get canceled. So I would rather go to the I'd rather go to the VATSIM event. So Grenada is what we're coming up on. This is another place I want to go see. Really want. I even have the hotel picked out. I want to go see. So we are looking for Fort Frederick. And the Houses of Parliament here in Tobago, here in Grenada. Oh, I just said Tobago. So, everything looking good. Yeah, Lorenzo, it's I don't know why. I always seem to have like family stuff going on when there's a VATSIM event I really want to go to. I guess my weekends are very rarely my weekends for some reason. But yeah, we'll see. I really hope to be able to be there Saturday for that. I think it's like a 4-hour event too, which is pretty cool. And I'm trying to decide if I do it, if I'm going to do it in this airplane or the ATR. So I think Fort Frederick's going to be relatively easy to see. I think the Parliament should be pretty easy to see too. The Parliament's a really big white building. Lorenzo, I really appreciate that. It's funny because it's never anything I would have expected to like kind of be my role, you know. I just happened upon a couple of things that really worked well for me, and posted some videos, and before I knew it, it was like the video. You know, it's funny. I used to get like, I mean, I've been posting, you know, flight sim videos for probably 4 years now. Just before FS 2020 came out, I started really with Prepared, and like I used to, like a year ago, if I posted a video, it would get like, you know, 120 views, and now I post a video and it gets like 7,000 views. It still blows my mind. It still blows my mind. Ray, I really appreciate that. I hope you guys know, like when I say I appreciate it, like I really, really do, because I never expected to be like any sort of influence in the flight sim community. I never expected it, and it's not like I'm doing it for that reason, you know. But like because I know how frustrating it can be sometimes, and I know like that. I know that eureka feeling when you get it right. You know, I know that feeling when you get smooth performance and like good graphics, and how good it makes you feel. I know. And so I'm just really, I'm grateful to you guys as opposed to the other way around. You know. That's awesome, Lorenzo. That means a lot to me, man. It really does. But again, like I'm grateful to you guys, not the other way around. Because it's just nice to have, you know, people tell you that it helps, you know. We'll start slowing down once we get up around. Well, I guess we still got a little bit of ways to go. We'll drop some altitude and start slowing down here a little bit. I hope other people. One thing I'll do as well. I'm gonna do the bush trips also. But like, I hope other people come and like check out these points of interest, because like it's kind of neat to. Because when you look for them to find where they are and like how to locate them and everything, you can't help but like read about what the story is and the history. And there's so much history in this part of the world. Like, people have no idea how much this part of the world shaped the rest of the world. You know? Just an amazing place. That's the cool thing about Flight Simulator is... Hey CM Films, how you doing? Great to see you again. It's the amazing thing about Flight Simulator is how much it lets us put in some flaps here, even so stabilize a little bit. Because of like the maybe not photogrammetry in this part of the world, but because of the photogrammetry in other parts of the world, and like how precise the the big maps and everything, like you actually get to see what it really looks like. You know, like this is what Grenada looks like. It's just incredible. Yeah, Ray, I totally agree. I think, and the funny thing is, I personally think FS24 is going to be even crazier than this. Like, I think FS24 is going to blow FS 2020 away. I really do, because it's going to be built to use, the modern multi-core CPUs, which, this simulator is based on FSX. I mean, this is, from 20 years ago. I think Flight Sim 24 is going to absolutely blow this sim away. I really do. I think we're going to be shocked when we see it. I think it's going to be the first time when the technology that we have is actually going to kind of match up with what the sim is. We're not going to be all, main thread limited and busted like we are in this sim. So in here we got the Houses of Parliament in Fort Frederick. It's right in that. It's in that inlet in front of us, and you can see like this sort of stuff. Like, this isn't even one of the points of interest, but look at it. Look how well represented that is. It's crazy. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Like, to be able to fly over this and to see what it looks like. So the Houses of Parliament should be a white building coming up right around here somewhere, right on the other side of this, I would think. There it is, right there. There's the Houses of Parliament. And we're going to have to give it some gas here to see Fort Frederick, because I think we're below it. So that's the Houses of Parliament right there. Very, very cool. And Fort Frederick, I'm fairly certain it's going to be right there. We might land on it if I'm not careful. Yeah, so there's the Houses of Parliament. This is going to be Fort Frederick. Rule number 1 of streaming is don't crash. Look at that. How cool. How cool is that? Alright. And then the airport should be... There it is. Just off the right wing there. So have a look here. So basically, this is going to be a little bit... We're going to have some time to chat. Francois, how you doing? Are you actually? Are you like literally physically in Union Island? Like in real life? Because if so, then that's amazing. Dump the flaps. And it's time to climb. We gotta get wow, Francois, that is amazing. You're kidding. Holy, I'm jealous of you right now. That is amazing. I don't know if you were with us when we just flew over it, and I was literally talking about how bad I want to see, you know, all these little, you know, the Grenadines. I want to see all those islands. That is absolutely amazing. Yeah. So, are you from down there, Francois, or did you move down there? I'm curious. That is awesome. Might knock on your door someday. Alright, coming up on 3,000. That should be a good cruise altitude. Bring the props back a little bit. Bring the power back a little bit. So this shouldn't be too long of a flight, but it might take a little bit. Originally from France, okay. Yeah, there's I was in, I don't know if, I don't think I was talking about it today yet. I was in Guadeloupe a couple of years ago, 2022. We were in Guadeloupe, and I met quite a few people from France who had moved to the islands. Why not? You only live once. You know? So I think a heading of about 190 is probably going to do us pretty well. Because, so what we got to do here, whoops, is go down around this side and then across here to see the two points of interest in Trinidad. Hey Francois, thanks a lot. Yeah, I would go outside too. I would be doing something outside if I was in Union Island. Have a great day, man. That's absolutely amazing to have somebody who's in the place in real life where you're flying over. Clean the mixtures here. So, gotta wait for these EGTs to reverse. And there they go. So we come back in about 2 of those notches right there. 2 of those ticks. And that's about 50 degrees rich peak right there. It's perfect. Looking pretty good. So Lorenzo, the two points of interest they have in Trinidad is, one of them is the Red House, and the other one is the Galera Point Lighthouse. So one of them is in the main city, which the name of which I don't know. It looks like it's called San Juan, is that, or Port of Spain. So the Red House in Port of Spain, and then which is kind of right here, and then there's a lighthouse right in the tip right out there. Those are the 2 points of interest in in Trinidad, and then we'll make a left and come up here and land in Tobago at the new airport in Tobago, which I'm very excited to see. Looking forward to seeing it. Okay, gotcha. Makes sense. Where Parliament sits, yeah. So, you know, one of the I've always thought about, yeah, Toco, correct. Exactly. I've always thought about making a video on the differences between real flight and sim flight, and there was a conversation I was following on one of the message boards, yesterday or the day before, where somebody was planning a flight to check out the different islands, and they were gonna go from the Dominican Republic to Guadeloupe, and they wanted to do it in a GA airplane. They were talking about doing it in the Bonanza. Now the Bonanza is a pretty capable airplane, but that's like, I think it's around about 600 nautical miles. And in my case, in my humble opinion, if you're willing to fly 600 nautical miles over open water in a single engine airplane, you need your head examined. And that to me is one of the big differences between sim flying and real flying. I mean, I don't know this airplane's capability on one engine. I'd imagine it's not bad, because these are 300 horsepower engines on either side. So I'd imagine they do pretty well single engine, you know, depending on the weight, obviously. But one thing that there are no consequences for anything I do in this sim. And even like local flights I have a Cherokee and a 152 in real life. And you know, at least I do, I'm very, very conscious of the fact that, like, anything I do in those airplanes, once the wheels are off the ground, has consequences, you know? And that's, to me, the biggest difference in sim flying and real flying, is that, you know, like basically what I just did over the houses, over Grenada there, flying over that town like that, I wouldn't do that in real life. Not even if you could. You're probably not allowed, you know, probably at the very least discouraged to do so. I don't know what the regulations are in terms of buildings and proximity to the ground and so on. But like, I wouldn't do that in a real airplane. You know, one of the things about airplanes is that, in particular with engines, they love to pick the absolute worst possible time to quit. They really do in real life. Hey Andrew, welcome back, man. We're just talking about sim flying versus real flying. And as a matter of fact, that Bequia, that island, the first island that we looked at when we took off out of St. Vincent, I was mentioning there was a crash there a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, in which a German tourist who's I guess a relatively well-known actor died, and his two little daughters died with him, and the pilot. And they had just taken off out of Bequia, and the engine quit. Yeah. And I tell you what, engines never quit when you're doing what I'm doing now. They always quit at the worst possible freaking time. It's uncanny. It's uncanny. And that airplane was from the 80s. That engine is ran flawlessly for 40 years and quits on them then, you know? It's just it's hard to understand. So I mentioned yesterday, this is what I refer to as Caribbean VFR. They're a little bit lax in what they consider VFR in the Caribbean. But yeah, if you guys have any flying questions or anything, fire away. For those of you who don't know, I'm an FAA instrument rated pilot. I'm not the best pilot in the world, I'm not the worst pilot in the world. But if you guys have flying questions, I'm happy to answer them if I can. So this is still VFR. But yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, the Caribbean. That's one thing, is that over water flights in small airplanes. Ooh, those are creepy. Because you can talk your way into hearing things. Because smart pilot is always listening for any change in pitch, any change in, any change at all in the sound the engines are making or the engine is making. I had a buddy, guy I know who was doing his instrument rating, and yeah. So Andrew, what I did was I'm using preset weather today because I didn't want to get caught up in the Saharan desert stuff again today. Yeah, the Sahara dust, exactly, Lorenzo. So this guy that I know was doing his instrument rating, and he swore up and down. He started hearing like weird noises coming from his engine. He had his mechanic check it out, and and he was telling me about it, and I was listening to him, like thinking, maybe there is something wrong, maybe whatever. And when the conversation ended, I wound up talking to his instructor a little bit later, and his instructor's like, there's nothing wrong with that airplane. He's hearing things because he's now flying in the clouds. And when you start flying in the clouds, things sound different. Things feel different. You get anything. It'll make you nervous. Because it's just, again, it's consequences. The consequences are different. And the first couple times you fly in the clouds, especially by yourself, it's intense. It is intense. So we're about a quarter of the way, third of the way. I think I can start seeing the island there off at about 11 o'clock. What if this thing shows ground speed? I don't think so. But yeah, the Islander isn't exactly a speed demon, but it's a fun plane. Hey, Carricou Fly, I didn't see you up there. I apologize. Yeah, this update to me is like Christmas in January. I don't know if I told you guys, I took the week off. I literally took the entire week off from work. Andrew, I have not tried the Comanche. I've heard really good things about it, but I have not tried it. The only reason I haven't tried it is this is Track IR5 that I'm using. I've had this Track IR5 unit for probably at least a decade. I got it at least a decade ago, and I use the Pro Clip, which attaches to your. I have it attached to my headset. Really, very Track IR5 is just awesome. It completely transforms the sim experience. To me, it's better than VR, because you can see everything. I can physically see my yokes and my you know, throttles and everything. But the only reason I haven't tried the Comanche is because I'm not really into like older 6-pack technology anymore. It's funny because when I put 2 Garmin G5s in my Cherokee in real life, and once I did, so those are they fit right in here. They're squares, and it's a PFD and an MFD, just like you get in a jet, you know. But they're just small. But they've got, you know, the vertical speed tape on the side, the airspeed tape on the side, the horizon, you know, all the stuff that you get in, like, totally off course now. All the stuff you get in a, you know, like the TBM or whatever else. And so when I put those in my Cherokee, in order to help, because it's a different visual process to use them. I did all my training and all my flying behind the 6-pack, just like this. And this to me is like home, you know, very, very comfortable. And in order to get myself used to looking at glass, I started flying the Bonanza. I started flying the TBM a lot, just to get my eye used to looking at a glass cockpit. And now that I'm used to looking at a glass cockpit, both in the sim and in real life, I don't really like looking at 6-packs anymore. The glass cockpit is just so much easier because you've got all this information right here, you know, just so much easier. SLH Sim Designs, how are you, sir? Welcome aboard. We just flew over your Grenada scenery about, I don't know, 20 minutes ago. And yeah, for those of you who don't know, SLH Sim Designs has done a ton of airports in the islands. Grenada, which we just flew over, Point Pitre and Guadeloupe, a couple of the other, Deseret, I think, was it Marie Gallant as well, St. Kitts, Anguilla, Beef Island in the British Virgin Islands. What's the big one in Bahamas? Nassau. But anyway, SLH Sim Designs has done a ton of amazing work in the islands. If you guys want some great scenery, check out his stuff. And so hopefully once we come through the mist here, we should be about halfway. This is taking a little bit longer than I thought it would, to be honest with you, to get from Grenada to Trinidad, but that's alright. I got nothing else to do. Yeah, absolutely, run wild. Absolutely. SLH earned an irreplaceable spot in my heart when he released the Anguilla scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Anguilla is it's just my favorite place on the planet. I just absolutely love Anguilla. And I know that airport really, really well, from having flown in and out of it so many times. And SLH's rendition of that airport is just amazing. And Travis, yeah, I totally agree that Beef Island is like one of those iconic, to me anyway, one of those iconic Caribbean approaches. You know, like St. Thomas, I think is a pretty memorable one. Beef Island, St. Martin, obviously. I think both St. Martin approaches are really cool. St. Eustatius, St. Kitts, those are both awesome approaches. Um, Fort de France is another one that's amazing. Just in terms of ones that I think any pilot who kind of looks around the Caribbean to see what there is to see, those are the kinds of approaches that we're all like mesmerized by. Yeah, Beef Island's really cool. And Caribbean Airlines is going to be starting service to Beef Island in 2024, which means Virtual Caribbean is also going to start service to Beef Island. Did any of you guys fly the ATR, and if so, what do you guys think of the update? Like, to me, it fixed a couple things, but I still feel like the approaches, unless I'm just not. Andrew, I think so. Yeah, I really do. I think the ground imagery looks very good. I think the buildings in particular look fantastic. But I flew the 737 for a long time, like for a year basically. And when the ATR came out, I just loved the ATR. The thing I like about the ATR is the ATR. Yeah, Beef Island to Trinidad, absolutely. Yep. Caribbean Airlines. They must be doing it in ATRs, I would imagine. But I don't know what the time frame is for when they're going to start that. But yes, they are doing Beef Island to Trinidad. But to me, what I love about the ATR, I should probably look and see how much fuel I have left. Huh? I was smart enough to offload some weight for this flight and add a little bit of fuel, which I didn't do for the last 2 days. Yeah, the Dash 8s. But the thing I like about the ATR is it's like a relatively complex airplane. You know, it's a transport airplane. But it handles like a 172. It handles it's very docile, very easy to fly, to hand fly. And I love the ATR. I just can't get it to fly approaches consistently. I've gotten, like, I'll do one approach one day and it'll work just fine, and then I'll try it, you know, I'll do an ILS one day and it works fine, and then I do an ILS the next day and it would put me a mile short of the runway, and I just don't understand why, or like what the difference is. Oh, no way! You know the chief pilot for Caribbean? Ask him if he hires Americans. I would love to fly for Caribbean. I tell you, if I had a choice, like, if I could fly, you know, like, name it, like a 747 for British Airways, or if I could fly like a 777 for American, you know, or if I could fly an ATR for Caribbean, I'd fly an ATR for Caribbean all day long. I think being a professional pilot in the Caribbean would be just amazing. I understand it's not, you know, it's not all roses. I probably don't appreciate a lot of the challenges of like dealing with the heat and the schedules and everything else. But okay, Lorenzo, yeah. You know, but I think flying in the Caribbean, you just have to throw me out of the cockpit. I swear. I've been thinking about getting my commercial and maybe applying with Tradewind at some point in like the next 5 years, like not like really soon. But that's always been kind of something in the back of my mind. So let's hope there's no rocks in these clouds. I don't think we're that close yet, but I love flying into and out of Carricou. I love flying into this island. It's so cool. The RNAV approach brings you right down the little valley, kind of out in this nook here. And the ILS approach brings you in this way, and I think they're both just such cool approaches. Can clouds have rocks? No, I'm talking about like if that's an expression. If like a lot of times people like if you get into clouds unexpectedly, like you can't see and you can't tell whether there's a hill in front of you or not. We call it rocks in the clouds. Talking about running into a mountain, you know, because there's this big mountain range. So, and people do it. People do all kinds of weird things in airplanes. Makes you wonder why. So I think right over here is that valley I'm talking about. So we'll go. Yeah, exactly. Lorenzo, yeah, you gotta be higher than I am. Let's put it that way. I'm at 3,000. Yeah, Travis, I think that is on the agenda. And Lorenzo, that's why I was wondering how close I was to the island, because, well, I can see it here, but I wouldn't want to fly into a bank of clouds, like right near the coast, because there are things to hit. I think this is what is it? I think there's it's like Napco, Talon, and then left-hand turn on the RNAV approach into Carricou. I've flown that approach 1,000 times. A lot of my virtual Caribbean Airlines flights are either start or finish in Carricou. I think. Is that the valley that I'm heading towards right now, Lorenzo? Yeah, Travis. I thought, like, for what it was, $15 for Grenada, Trinidad, and Tobago airports. I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was okay. And I think the Trinidad one. Okay, this is Diego Valley. Okay. I think it's not too bad. I think that the current Carricou is not bad. A lot of people look for different things in scenery. Some people really want the interior of the airport done. Some people don't want the interior of the airport done. Like, I just appreciate having, I'll appreciate anything that's better than stock that just has this big, rectangular blob. Of course this one can be improved for sure, but just having an option is nice. That's why I'm excited to see the Tobago scenery, to see how well they did with Crown Point. Okay, cool. Yeah. Sorry for the 45 minutes of overwater flight, but So Andrew, you've seen the have you seen the new one or not? This will be my first time seeing it. I think this is the first time I've actually flown in here in a small airplane. Okay, so awesome, Lorenzo. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I'm having fun. Like, then again, I find it hard not to have fun doing this. That's good news. I'm glad to hear that, Andrew. It looks like the weather's closing in that valley. So in real life, I would absolutely not do this. I would head that way. Which makes you wonder why I'm doing this now. But in real life, I would absolutely not do this. This is another good example of the difference between real flying and sim flying. Once you get in here, those clouds close in on you. You don't know you're getting out by luck. So I'm going to show you what not to do because this is not looking real good. You know what? Unless this breaks here in a second. Okay. You know what? This is called aeronautical decision making, gents. I'm not doing that because that's a good way to run right into something. And we can just turn around, go out along the end of the island there, where it was clear. That passed, and actually that's one of the one thing that I think is amazing about Microsoft Flight Simulator is like that which just happened. Very, very realistic. I mean, you can have, you know, weather close in on you when something looks clear, and then 30 seconds or a minute later, it ain't looking clear anymore. That absolutely happens in real life. And like I said, in real life, I wouldn't have even stuck my nose in there to begin with. I would have just gone around the outside here. But because it was the sim and to try to save a few minutes, I figured I'll just see if I can get through there. But the stream would come to an abrupt halt, and if I flew into one of the mountains, and that would be unfortunate. So I'm not too worried about going this way because I know there's nothing out here. So we'll just go out around the end here. Yeah, SLH, I agree. Piarca was the best of the three. I think Grenada was the worst of the three, and that's the one that you took care of for us. Yeah, SLH, I feel totally the same. I was grateful to have it simply because it wasn't default. I thought Piarca was not bad. Grenada was nothing to look at, but again, better than default. And for $15, you know, to me, it was just one of those things that tied you over until somebody like you came along and did a really nice job of it. So this is a little bit safer. This is a little bit safer. So, yeah, I mean, that was a legit closing into that weather over there. really closed in. This is much better. It's kind of disappointing because that's a cool valley to fly through. So now we're gonna get to our next points of interest. Lorenzo, I would love, one of my dreams is to fly around the Caribbean in a small, just in a piston. I see, you know, I'll tell you a funny story. I watched the live stream from Princess Juliana pretty often, and I remember one okay, the Marable Valley. I'll show you. One day, it was a Saturday. It was a Saturday, probably 2 years ago. In the summer, I was sitting outside drinking coffee, watching Princess Juliana on my iPad, and this Cessna 152 was taking off out of, or was it a 150? It was either 150 or 152. I can't remember. It was taking off out of Juliana, and it had an N number, so it was a U.S. registered aircraft. So I looked up the like where it had been and where it had driven. This person had flown from. They had flown from Florida. Let's start dropping some altitude. They flew from Florida to Princess Juliana to St. Martin in a Cessna 150. Like, I mean, wow. Hey, you know what? I have the 414. I just haven't, and I've actually flown in that actual airplane in real life. I just haven't spent any time with it in the sim. But yeah, send me the link for that livery, because maybe that's something I should get doing here at some point. Alright, so the red house, you guys probably know where it is. Should be coming up. Should be somewhere like right in here, no? Maybe that's it right there. That might be it. I think that is going to be it. Fly left of the big building. Yeah, I think it's right in front of me. I think it's right here, right? Yeah. Yeah, this is probably not approved either. They probably wouldn't be too thrilled with you if you did this in a real plane. It's so cool that you guys can point out, like, show me where it is. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I think it's amazing they've done this. It's really pretty cool. Making sure we don't hit the tall building. So there we go. Yeah, I guess I can't really hit it, can I? That is neat. Look at that. Look at that. How cool. Alright, before we crash, but like, see what I mean? I think the buildings look better than they have. But like, especially things like this, like I would imagine that's probably actually there. You know, like I would not think that they would put like random things like that. I could be wrong, I guess. Right? But like, to me, I would expect that like buildings like this are actually there. You know? Okay, Nestle, that's cool. I think it looks pretty good. I really do. And what fascinates me the most is like seeing the different like types of landscapes, like this stuff over here, like farmed fields and like things those are the things that really like blow my mind in Microsoft Flight Simulator, that you can see all that stuff, you know, like flying into Cuba, for example, and like seeing just like this, like that type of landscape, seeing that sort of thing really just blows me away. And like when you fly into Cuba, it's just endless like crop fields, you know, and to me I don't know, it's just amazing, I think, to see what like another completely different part of the world than where you are, and to get a relatively good rendition of what it actually looks like is amazing. Trinidad's a big... How long would it take me if I drove from like here to the lighthouse that we're going to see? How long would that take me? I mean, I mean, Guadeloupe, driving from one end of Guadeloupe to the other was like an hour and 10 minutes, which to me, that's a pretty big island. I don't know which one is bigger, Guadeloupe or 3 hours, holy cow, yeah, it's a big island. This is a big island, wow. So I don't have that's just the stock scenery for the airport. But see what I mean? Like seeing this type of landscape, to me, I just think it's so cool. Peter, no, I am not. I've never even been tempted to try that. The Google Maps one. That actually doesn't look half bad for a stock layout, you know? I mean, a lot of the stock airports are literally just like, looks like a warehouse stuck on the airport, you know? Doesn't look half bad for what it is, you know. Like a lot of times you just show up and it'll just be like just a big square building, you know. What's also funny is like being familiar with places that you've never seen in real life. Like I know all those taxiways, like parking spots, blah blah blah. Like, I've never been there. Never been there in my life. They made it worse. 40 miles wide by 50 miles long, okay. So now I gotta look here and see. I guess we're not gonna be able to. It's not gonna be possible to miss the lighthouse, I think. I think 2,500 feet is enough. Because I'm gonna want to come down to see the lighthouse anyway. Yeah, Peter, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I don't know why. I've never been tempted to try the Google Maps thing. It's probably, I'd probably be amazed. With the so with the Google Maps thing, do you still get like all the buildings, like, or is it all kind of? You must. Yeah, I find it rather interesting that there's a paid version. Yeah, okay. I find it interesting that there's a paid version of the Google Maps mod, because that's not from Google. I mean, somebody is taking Google's product and selling it, which I'm sure if Google was aware of, they would not be happy with. You know? Like that kind of, I wonder how and why. By the way, I don't know if you guys know, there's a cool freeware version of, there's a small airport just over to the south of, maybe this, well, it's down near the VOR, but I don't remember what it's called, but there's a cool little freeware version of it on FlightSim.to. Camden, yeah. Veneno is back. So the buildings are the same, okay. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I think there was an old airport somewhere, if I remember correctly, somewhere maybe around here. Maybe that's it, actually. There was an old airport in Trinidad. I think it was a smaller GA airport that I went looking for one day. Because every once in a while I get bored and I'll go looking for like closed airports in the Caribbean. Oh, no way, that's awesome. Yeah, I went and checked that out like a long time ago. But I do that sometimes. I'll go check out old airports in the Caribbean. Gosh, this is a big island, isn't it? What's the weirdest part for me about coming home from Anguilla is I go to Anguilla like at least once a year, if I'm lucky, twice a year. The weirdest part for me coming in Anguilla, or coming home from Anguilla, is the drive home from the airport, where you're on a freeway going 75 miles an hour for like 2 hours. Whereas in Anguilla, like, in 40 minutes at 15 miles an hour, you're from one end of the island to the other. So I don't know if you guys have seen there's a freeware thing that like I don't know if package is the right word. I guess package is the right word. A project is what I was looking for. There's a freeware project where somebody did all of the different mail routes from the U.S. from like the 1930s, and they did all like the stops, and so you can go and fly the mail routes like across the U.S. in like a DC-3 or whatever you want to fly. And I always wish that somebody would do that for the Caribbean and do like the old I don't know if you guys have seen like old pictures of St. Martin Airport like from the 40s and 50s where it's literally just like a little house. It's like a little, you know, square wooden building, and like just a flat open dirt, you know, runway. And I know there's a couple World War II fields on Trinidad, and like I've seen pictures of the Anguilla Airport from the 60s and 70s, I think the 70s. And I've seen pictures of St. Bart's Airport. Like, I don't even know if you can really call it an airport from the pictures. It's just a dirt strip and a house next door. Like, to me, I think that is so cool. I wish somebody would go through and redo, and it would seem to be relatively easy or easier because you could like they're very basic structures, you know. But there's there's a company that did it for a lot of Europe, like Paris and Berlin, and I think they did a lot of France. Yeah, absolutely, Lorenzo. It absolutely did. One day, I would love to be able to read like a definitive history of aviation in the Caribbean. Like, and I know a lot of it developed out of World War II. A lot of the strips were old World War II strips. American submarine base here. Yeah, that's one thing that, like, people don't realize how big a role this part of the world played in World War II. You know, but I would love to see. I don't think it exists a definitive like history of aviation in this part of the world. I think it would be fascinating. But yeah, there's I think it's Red something 1935 is the company that did. You can get it in the marketplace. If you go into the marketplace and just type in 1935 or 1935, I think all their sceneries and stuff will come up. And they did a bunch of the U.S. sceneries too from the 1930s. So you can like take a DC-3 and go flying around to the different like 1930s airports. And that's the thing about this edition of Flight Simulator is you can recreate eras. You know, like it's just amazing. Yeah, Lorenzo, one of the things, something that people also don't know, there was, and actually now that I think about it, I flew out here and looked at this lighthouse before. There was an airport out here, now that I think about it. There was an airport out here, because I took the 152 and I flew out here and I landed it. There was an old airport. I wish I had looked it up. Oh no. Oh, I just got the dreaded connection lost. Okay, hopefully But let me know if any of you guys remember. There is an airport out here. I think I reconnected. I think it dropped and I reconnected. Okay. Yeah, it's no longer there, but it's funny. We're gonna see very shortly. I think you can still see it. I think it wasn't much more than a dirt strip. World War II base. Okay, yeah. But I think you can still see it in the sim. Oh, that's right. That's right, Andrew. I think it must have been a FlightSim.to thing. But that to me is what's so fantastic about this sim is like, whoopsie, 1 minute. I should descend here a little bit. Is like being able to recreate things like that is just fascinating to me. Is the vegetation this dense? Like, is this realistic, the trees? Or is it a little more than you would really see? Oh, this is going to be a cool one, I think. There. That is the strip right there, I do believe. We'll look here in a second. Once we do our water landing. Or no, it's right here. I think it's right here. I think that's it right there. That's the strip. How cool. How cool, he says, as he descends into the water at 150 miles an hour. I want to see... see if this... No, that's something else. Yeah, that's something else. I'll go do another flyby here. I think that is... Yes, that is the landing strip. Because there was a building at the end of it. And I'm fairly certain. That's it. That's the strip. That was the strip. And then there was a building like right along here somewhere. How cool. How cool is that? That is neat. Alright, where on earth am I? Okay, there we go. Let's give it some juice here. That's the road leading to the White House, okay? To the lighthouse. I'm gonna go look now and find that. Oh wait, Andrew, you sent me the link to the. DJ Sly. Yeah, that's probably pretty freaking cool out there. It really is. Well, that's what I find so fascinating about Flight Simulator is being able to just like. It's a world simulator that we go fly around in. You know, like it really is. Yeah, Ray, that's a good idea. You know what's funny? I wonder, you could probably just go out and like place yourself out there at night. You know, like in the flight simulator map. You know, on the map page, just plant yourself there and set the timing to night and see what happens. See if the light's on. That would be interesting. So, I think 1,500 feet will do it for the return. I left my mixtures lean the entire time. That's not good. Now my spark plugs are full of carbon fouling, probably. Or no, actually, it would be the opposite. My pistons will be on fire. Hey, what are you gonna do? I think 1,500 feet will do it. Yeah, Veneno, I totally agree. That's why I just find it so amazing. I guess that's part of what, like, I don't understand people who get so upset about things in this simulator. Like, I'm assuming they're a lot younger than I am and they haven't experienced FSX or, you know, you know, FS 2002, you know, things like that. Like, I mean, this to me it's just such a gem that we have. So let me look at DTCP. Let me take a look at the airport. All right, we got runway 11. Okay. Yeah, it's not too bad actually. I mean, Peter, it's pretty good on. It's pretty good on fuel. It's not too bad. And I would expect these probably burn. I would think it probably burns maybe 12 a side. It says it's burning 14 a side per hour. It's funny how each of these, so this flight is going to be about the same time as the last two, and I absolutely didn't plan it that way. It just worked. It just worked out that way. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go overfly the airport and then do a downwind. So we can take a look at the airport from above. Yeah, game crashing is, I've been very, very fortunate. I guess a lot of people have had issues with that. I got my current computer, and this is only a sim computer. This is all I use this computer for. And I got this in November 22, so about a year, you know, 15 months ago. And I've had zero problems with this in terms of crashing or anything since then. I actually got a couple crashes when I was testing stuff with the frame gen mod. Or was it the frame gen mod? Yes. With the frame gen mod, I got some crashes. And then there's like this thing. I don't know if you can see that. There was the line right there for a second. But okay, yeah. And one of the things that, like, oh man, that's tough. one of the things we get really spoiled with in the U.S. is like the idea that you can just order something and it's there, like in 2 days, you know, at the worst. You know, in terms of like computer hardware and stuff like that. Like I was ordered this off Amazon and like 2 days, you know, 4 days later it was here. I have a buddy who lives in Jamaica that I fly with all the time in the sim, and he had to wait, like, I mean, it took him a while to upgrade his system, because he would buy components when he like went on a trip to the US, you know, and like, so I can totally see the appeal of something like an Xbox where you just buy one thing and it runs, you know, without having to mess around with a bunch of different components and whatnot. And it's actually, if you think about it, it's freaking amazing that this sim runs on Xbox. Is amazing. I'd be interested to see it. Like I can't really wrap my head around how you fly with a, I don't know if you have like a separate yoke, Veneno, or if you use the controller. I know a lot of people use the controller, so clearly it's doable. But I'll tell you something funny about this computer I got. I got an absolute steal on it. Like I literally could not have bought the components. Yeah, frame gen mod. Lifted mind. The first thing I would do is make sure that your frame rate is limited in NVIDIA control panel to whatever your monitor refresh rate is. That's the first thing. That's what happened to me before I did that. If you have the frame rates running unlimited, it can get overwhelmed, for lack of a better term. Hey Lorenzo, thank you so much. It was awesome having you. It was really great having you. Take care. And we'll be doing this again tomorrow if you want to join us. So here we go. This looks pretty nice. Looks pretty nice. I'm really hopeful that this looks good. I really am. I love overwater approaches. I love runways that end right at the water. You know? And so if this airport, gosh, this looks nice. You take care as well, Lorenzo. Be well. This looks really good. I'm excited. Oh, I'm excited. This looks pretty good. Oh, it looks really good. I am excited to see this. Now I'm jazzed. Alright, 1,000 feet is good. For a pattern, so runway 11. Let's angle it out here a little bit. Start slowing down. 0, I don't think so. I don't think so. You know, because it's all that does is make it so people don't have to buy a newer card. You know. So now I want to get the 1-1 right on this bottom notch here, and that'll be a perfect downwind. I also don't want to descend into the sea. That would be bad. So, first notch of flaps is in. Fuel pumps on. Mixtures are rich. Let's start descending here a little bit. And then we want to turn until that 1-1 is about on this left hash mark, and that's a decent base leg. Just gives you an idea until you can see a little bit better. Bring in some trim here. In a plane like this, about 500 feet a minute, 90 knots is really pretty good. The eyeball, you know, just like ballpark figures for a pattern. I'm gonna go props full forward. And remember how I was saying before, don't overshoot your base to final turn? I just did it. When you do it, if you want to get away with it, don't start banking hard to get back there. Just be patient. Just be patient and just bring it back around nice and slow. Alright, now I want to get some. Okay, I got 4 red. So if you've got 4 red like that, okay, there's 1 white. If you've got 4 red, just level off and fly. Okay, there's 2 red, 2 white. You got 4 red, just level off and hold it until you get 2 white, 2 red. Alright. Gotta bring in some trim here. Keep some back pressure. Alright, I'm pretty happy with this. Mixtures and props full forward, a few pumps around, flaps are set. Gotta keep an eye on that airspeed. This looks nice. I am pleased right now with what I'm seeing from this airport. Got 4 red now, but I don't care. I've got the field made. Airspeed is good. A little bit of power out. A little bit of power out. Power's all the way out. And now, don't land. So my instructor used to tell me, don't land, don't land, don't land. Because if you just focus on not landing, just keeping that nose up, you'll grease them on. So, Veneno, I do. If you're asking in real life, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Oh, remote control. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that's what he meant or not, but no, I don't. I'm curious about it. There's actually an airport. There's actually an airport near me, very very small airport near me, where they fly remote control, and it looks pretty fun, but I've never done it. And it's funny, it's a tiny little airport. And the remote control guys, I'm talking tiny, it's like 2,000 foot strip, if that. And there's no taxiway, it's like just the runway. Like the back taxi, you have to get on the runway. And the remote control runway is right next to the real runway, and the real pilots and the remote control pilots are always getting in arguments with each other. But lean the mixtures. Fuel pumps off. Let's put our flaps up. I always forget to put my flaps up. I am telling you right now, I think this looks freaking cool. I think this looks pretty cool. Whoopsie. Oh, and of course, yeah, I managed not to find a parking spot here, but that's okay. Alright, mixtures to idle, cut off, throttles are idle. Parking brake on. Lights coming off. Flaps are up. Fuel pumps are off. Avionics master off before you turn the mags off. Master and battery switches off. Now, look at this. Wait, look at this. Oh, we're going to do it the right way, guys. We'll put the chocks out. And we'll get the boarding steps out. This is so cool. I think this is such a cool little airplane. But what do you guys think of this airport? I think this looks fantastic. I think this looks great. I love This to me is like the quintessential like smaller Caribbean airport that I just love. I think this looks fantastic. Old World War II airport, and a lot of heritage planes there. Where is that, Veneno? I'm curious to know where that is, what the airport identifier is. Um, I think this looks tremendous. I really do. How fun. It's cool because this is such a great approach. I wonder if I can get my drone camera working. I don't know if I have batteries in it in my controller. I don't think I do. I can't even find my controller anyway, so it doesn't really matter. All right. Well, we're just gonna have to look at it like this then, I guess. Old Warden in the UK. I'm gonna write that down and check that out. The Shuttleworth collection fly from EGTH. Thank you. That's pretty cool. Virgin. Oh wow. Oh, so Andrew, you're saying the 744 used to fly in here? Wow. That's so. That is amazing. I love runways that end at the water. That to me is always so much fun. Like I think Sangster is like that in Jamaica. I'm trying to think of other ones. I'm not sure if Grand whatchamacallit. Kingston too, yeah. Yeah, you're right, Kingston is. Yep. And let me think. Grantley Adams. Grantley Adams not as much. I mean, there's a little bit of terrain before you get to it. I like Grand Cass. I think Grand Cass is a cool approach. But this now, I'm telling you, this is now going to be on my list of places to fly to, like, more often. Because I think they've done a really, really nice job. That's fantastic. Oh, hey Ray, where are you? How are you? I'm glad you're back. So yeah, another 2 hours and 15 minutes in the books, and I think that was a pretty cool flight today. I enjoyed that one. This is so cool. I'm gonna fire up my I have to find my controller first of all before I can start using it, and use the drone cam to check to look around. So I guess we'll wrap it up, but this looks fantastic. That was a good flight. Nice landing at Mustique, if I say so myself. And pretty good stuff here too. And Andrew, take it easy. Thanks, guys. Thank you everybody for watching, for being along. And hopefully, like I said, I hope I can join the VATSIM flight on Saturday. I might see if I can. Hey Ray, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm gonna see. Maybe I'll do 2 flights tomorrow. We should start at St. Kitts and fly north. I think might be a good idea. And go check out. Hey, Lifted Mind, gladly. If send me a message on one of the videos, Lifted Mind, if it works for you or not, because that's what fixed it for me. Hey Peter, awesome, thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna at least do 1 stream tomorrow. I might do 2. If I can't fly on Saturday, I might do 2 streams tomorrow, because I want to get my flying in. before my week off runs out. So hey, Veneno, thank you. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys coming along. It makes it so much fun. So I'll schedule something for tomorrow, and thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it, and hope everybody had a good time. And we'll check everything out tomorrow. All right. Yeah, together for Vincent would be good, Ray. Absolutely, 100% agree. All right, gents, take it easy. Everybody have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you guys later. Be well. Oh, Veneno, just saw your question. I use Honeycomb Bravo and Honeycomb Alpha. Yeah, I got one. I got one of the early ones. Envy, thank you. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And Peter, same to you. Have a good evening. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Take it easy.